Smokers, I got a question for you. You ever been reading a comic while having a smoke? Doesn't matter what you smoke, and thought to yourself, man, this is a really good comic. And as you continue on, you're like, I should probably put this out, save it for later. Or you put one out because it's done. And then as you continue to read on, you're like, whoa, I've been reading this comic so long that I'm almost out. Or I might as well just light me another one. Be it a cigarette or whatever it is you're smoking. This is what happened here. Cause I was supposed to save my little smoking for this video, and I was reading this and it was so good that I ended up burning everything just about. So I mean, if you're not a smoker, I guess that doesn't really mean shit to you, so I guess I'll get into explaining why this book is so good. If you've ever heard of Spider-Man Homecoming, I have no idea if this is, a direct parallel to it or not, if they had read this comic and thought to add some things into it, because if so, then it would be a very poor representation. But I noticed a similarity or two in the book, and as you could tell, I have had this book for a very, very long time. It's to the point where it's getting the tears and stuff, and most people are like, oh well, my comics, like, I keep them locked up, safe away where nothing can happen to them. And it's like, sure, true, but I love my comics so much that shit, I put them right here in my backpack, and I take them places. I like to read while I'm out, and eventually where is gonna happen on it. So this comic, the cover, I need to say, was drawn by J. Scott Campbell, and that, my friends, is one of the gods of the comic industry, if you ask me, as far as how appealing his work always ends up looking to the audience, whether or not all of his every girl he draws has the same face. Somebody at a comic shop told me that one day, and I really can't unsee it now. Like, they do all have the same face, but he is excellent at making things look appealing. What he draws, it always looks really appealing, and it's more so appealing than John Romita Jr.'s art, in my opinion. So I'm really glad that they got him to do the cover of this, because I probably might not have picked it up. I probably might not have been interested in, enough to read it. Even though, shit, I probably would have read it anyway if it was gifted to me, because it's a Spider-Man comic, and in my opinion, Spider-Man is the greatest superhero to ever fucking exist. I believe he's better than all of them, but that's just because of what I feel a superhero. He meets all the requirements of what I feel a superhero should be. But anyway, I'm about to open this up, and yeah, as you can see, I'm used to this guy's art. I'm used to John Romita Jr.'s art. But, oh, that's Campbell right there. But the way that he draws his characters, I have to say, they always have like this boxy feeling to them, to where it looks like they're on a show that's trying to spare the budget. We would rather rely on dynamic movement than I guess evening out all of those chisels, right? All of those boxy edges is not as important. But and it ends up not being as important once you get immersed into the story. And I don't wanna show the whole thing, but let's see here. He gets to a point where he's pissed off. He's been pissed off for a minute, and because of that, he went to a place where demolition was scheduled, and he beat a skyscraper down to down to the point where they didn't even need to do demolition. Now that's a big testament to Spider-Man's strength, because everybody always tries to say, oh well, he's not, he shoots webs, what does he do? Like, no, Spider-Man literally got mad at his life, beat the hell out of a building, and this dude said, we about to start, okay, lunch. So what I was going to talk about in this comic is the fact that this was a very good comic that ended up making Spider-Man realize that he was a lot more than he thought he was, because up until this point, the original story had been that he had got bitten by a radioactive spider, right? And you know, it just so happened to bite him by chance or whatever. But then this Ezekiel guy shows up, hopping on rooftops just like him, and he's like, hey, let me ask you something. How do you even know that fucking spider wasn't already there to bite you in the first place? He's like, you think it happened by chance. Oh, it was a spider, it got radioactive and then it bit me before it died. Like, no. What if, just what if the motherfucker was there to bite you the entire time, and it just so happened to become radioactive on the way to you? And from that, he ended up learning something. He ended up learning, like, yeah, you're not just Spider-Man. This didn't just happen on purpose. That spider that bit you was no normal spider. And shoot, I'm not even gonna get to, well, I mean, shit, I might as well get to him. He's still trying to stick around. He's still trying to figure out what's going on with this. He's like, okay, look, I'm swinging around the city, I don't know what's going on, but look, this guy right here does a little thing. He looks at Spider-Man with a little bit of the, with that gaze, and we're wondering what the hell this means, right? Tell me why this guy affects his spider sense on such a high level that the only thing it tells him to do is to hide. Now think about that. Spider sense is his trump card. Spider sense is his alarm. If he's asleep, it will autopilot him to protect him from an incoming threat. If he's blindfolded, he's more dangerous fighting than when he can see you. This is something that was able to literally warn him of somebody with bad breath one time because he had tacos. But this guy affects his spider sense on such a high level that happens. So when we continue on to this story, we try to figure out why the heck that is, right? Because spider sense is a self-defense mechanism. It doesn't say, hey, hide. And, along the way, because this is a really big book, but along the way he saves the school. He saves the school from a school shooter. A school that he was there to apply for, if I remember correctly. So, you remember how I said a good artist back when I was reviewing the Batgirl thing, the Cassandra Cain thing? A good writer has the ability to make your character that you're reading about come face to face with his or her own trauma and make it feel organic. Because see, when most people think school shooting, they save the day, they're like, oh, some punk kid, or something along the lines of that, right? Spider-Man sees himself. You can tell he sees himself. Like that's literally what Spider-Man lived. That was his high school. Up until he got spider powers and he was able to, ignore it. That's his privilege or whatever, but still. Point is, he says right after somebody quits because of that shit, Peter's like, nah, fuck that. I'm the new science teacher. So right then and there, he's thinking about what protects people, what protects kids. Like, what can I do to make other people's lives better? Shit. I wanted to get to this part real quick because the part where they're having lunch is like very important. So he tells Spider-Man, bro, what's going on here is the fact that you've been thinking at this on too one-dimensional a fucking level, bro. Like, you're not just Spider-Man. You are a spider totem. Like, and he even told him, like, look, bro, you're way more special than you think. And he says, what are you talking about? You think I could talk to spiders? This guy said, give it a try. He's like, what, are you kidding? He said, I'm not kidding you. Try it. Of course, he tries it, and it doesn't work. But he's like, still, that's only because individually spiders are morons, but collectively they form one singular thought. So, you know, maybe if you were to try to talk to a bunch of spiders, it would be a different story. You never know. And he said, who you are bridges the gap between spider and man. You have totemistic powers, bro. You are a spider totem. That spider was magic that bit you. So because of that, and to be clear, because I know people are like, well, what is a totem? What do you mean by he's a totem? That doesn't explain anything. A totem, just for a short explanation, a totem is a natural object or an animal believed by a particular society to have a spiritual significance, and that is adopted by it as an emblem. A person or thing regarded as a symbolic or representative of a particular quality or concept. So literally, he is the Spider-Man. Like, I don't know how to emphasize it much more than that without basically going into too much detail, but he is, while there are other people who can name themselves after an animal, he is the bridge between spider and man. He was meant to have spider powers, and he says you're not even the first one. Throughout history, there were people, you know, people of power, people who didn't have a, whatever the case, they all had these types of powers. Then he goes, you ever hear the story? I mean, have you ever heard the phrase, you know a man by his enemies? Because he's talking about, yeah, these people, there's always going to be these types of people that want this power, right? There's always going to be these types of people that want this power. And he's like, well, shit, you fought some of them actually too. Peter says, bro, I know my fucking enemies. None of these people are after that type of power. He's like, you still don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. Listen up. Captain America, this dude has Red Skull. The X-Men, they have Magneto. Thor has Loki. And what do you got? You got a bunch of animal-themed fucking bad guys attacking you. People who don't even realize that they are jealous of you subconsciously, bro. They don't even realize what the hell they're doing. An octopus, a vulture, a rhino, a scorpion, a lizard. They're pretenders. They're pretenders. You didn't even realize that your lives was on a fucking path that you couldn't even freaking explain. Subconsciously, they're envious of your power, so they want to kill you. That's why you got a bunch of animal-themed villains. And he goes on to say, look, bro, the animal-themed villains and shit like that you have had until this day, they're nothing compared to what's coming. And Peter asks, okay, well, if they're pretenders, what does that make me? The real deal. Well, then what about you? He says, well, my road wasn't the same as yours. I went through some shit. I'll tell you about it one day. Of course, this was never told, right? But see, you can understand the type of shit that they're doing right here. They're completely rewriting Spider-Man to be a magic spider totem. Like, he is somebody who was created by a spider that was sent from Universe 1 to bite him and create a Spider-Man. And not only that, but Peter Parker of 616 is the true spider of all the spider totems. So he really is the real deal. But, you know, the stuff that I said just now probably was in the Spider-Verse comic that's upcoming, but that's okay because, yeah, this is actually the true precursor to the Spider-Verse comics. And what I mean by that is, when I went to see the Spider-Verse movie, I was like, I already know they're not going to have Morlun in this shit. They're not, whether you call him Morlun, whichever. I ended up calling him Morlun. That's just what it is. He's like, well, shit, the guy that's after you right now is your natural predator. Okay? And he is. This guy is basically a vampire to what Spider-Man and his people are. So, he's like, he's probably doing whatever ritual, whatever sick ritual that he does before he gets ready to come and hunt you, because he's already here looking for you. And of course, what's the ritual? Do you think this makes my butt look fat? I'm like, no, Morlun. So, yeah, eventually this guy comes after Spider-Man. And this guy does tell him to hide, by the way. He wants him to make sure that he hides. Why? Because the type of shit that his spider sense goes off in a way that basically tells him, bro, you need to hide. Like, there's nothing you can do against this guy. He's literally your natural predator. And he means that. Because when he shows up, he hits the hell out of this guy. The absolute living fucking hell out of this guy. And what did he say? Nobody has ever hit me hard like that. Not Thor, not the Hulk, nobody. And Spider-Man's strength topped out at base Thor when he was 15. They've both been getting stronger since then. But base Thor was the only one who could actually put Spider-Man's strength and power in check back when he was 15. Like, this guy is the real deal. He's the actual fucking predator. Nothing's funny anymore. And when he shows up, the reason why I love Morlun so much, because he shows up, he tries to mess him up and all that shit, blasts him, boom. Like, he's doing nothing to him. He gets to the point where he says, look, bro, here is how it is going to fucking be. And let me tell you something. He said, you will run, I will pursue. I do not tire. I do not grow weary. I do not give up. You may get ahead eventually, but I will catch up. Now that I've found you, I will always be able to find you no matter where you may hide. But I give you my solemn word that it's nothing personal. And this is, he said the longest it's ever taken is a week. Context for this, he hunts spider people in all dimensions. So the longest it's ever taken him to chase down and kill a Peter Parker is a week. Spider-Man gets pissed and he's like, oh shit, wait a minute. You sat there and tried to tell me you're gonna kill me, but it's nothing personal? Oh, I'm actually pissed off. Let's go. And what did he do? A full page of nothing but them beating the fuck out of each other. And you know what he says? I hit him with everything I've got. He keeps coming. I hit him with everything I can find. He keeps coming. He doesn't talk. He doesn't snarl, he doesn't yell, he doesn't gloat, preen, cackle, threaten, or mock. He just keeps coming. More bro, if you understood what it, I'ma just keep going. This is Spider-Man, bro. This is not your everyday. He even tried to run and hide, right? He tried to run and hide. He went all the way up here. And as soon as he gets there, he said, oh shit, it can't be. Nobody's that fast. Like, bro. And then he falls from a big ass building. Hey, we'll both die. No, just you. You had to get free. And of course something like that actually probably wouldn't even kill him, but hell, who knows? He thinks so. Although I believe he's strong enough to survive it. So these two get separated for a little bit. And Peter decides, okay, we separated, right? I'ma just put on my clothes and get the hell on, right? I'm Peter Parker now. I'm in an alley, I'm doing my own thing. I gotta catch my breath and oh shit. Well, bro, I did say that I was gonna find you. Now that I have found you before, I will always find you. My God. Peter can't even rest. He can't even rest. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about happens in real stories. Like, you put these stakes against people like this, people who don't give up, people like Spider-Man, and what do you get? You get problems, because Spider-Man will get tired enough to retreat after a certain point. But Morlun, this guy, he's already willing to put people in danger to get what he wants. Spider-Man tastes just that, Spider people taste just that good to him. Look at this. An entire shard of glass in Spider-Man's fucking back. Are you, bruh? But maybe it's not in his back, right? Maybe it just, okay, maybe I'm looking at that wrong. I'm sorry. So eventually he goes back to Ezekiel and he's like, bro, you gotta help me. Ezekiel's like, man, I told you to motherfucking hide when I got here. What did you do? Oh, I don't really hide. I'm Spider-Man. No, bro. I told you to hide. You declined. He's found you once. He will never be able to unfind you. He will always find you no matter where you are. I'm done, bro. I can't do shit. I tried to warn you. I didn't even have to do that. I didn't even have to do that, bro. You literally on your own, my guy. And he's like, and you're the main target. So if I try to help you, he'll find me. And I got the same kind of total mystic powers. And one thing I do like about John Romita Jr.'s art. I'm sorry, because I never remember this guy's name, especially when he got, and I don't know why that is, because I've read a ton of his comics. It's just that, yeah, the boxy art, I just don't. But his battle damage Spider-Man is always really good. That's one thing that I can say about him. His battle damage Spider-Man always looks amazing. And of course, look what happens. He's causing chaos and he's got a kid. Spider-Man actually feels rage at this point in time. And this is one of those reasons why I believe Spider-Man is better than your favorite superhero, whoever they are. All right? See, Spider-Man is the type of person that tries to keep cool. But when it comes to rage, only shit like this will bring Spider-Man to the point where he's like feral with you. A kid. Like, that's where you cross the line. Because now, after he saves the kid, he's running in because he wants to fight him. And of course, what happens? a whole lot more of Morlun having this basically infinite stamina. The nerve of this guy to have infinite stamina on top of being like Thor level fucking strong. Stronger than Thor, arguably, right? Stronger than the Hulk, arguably. I'm gonna say arguably. So Spider-Man gets to the point where he's like, all right, I've been fighting this guy for 12 damn hours. 12 hours. I'm gonna have to call off of work. So he does that. And then gets back to his fight. And then after that, after more bone chilling, just fighting, nothing but fighting, bro, he decides, okay, I might fucking die. Let me call Mary Jane. Mary Jane doesn't pick up because shit, it's Mary Jane. She actually has, like, she doesn't sit around. She has shit to do. That's something I love about Mary Jane, by the way. I don't know why everybody always like to shit on her like she's useless. Like, she's direct opposite of that. But then he called Aunt May. He said, look, you know you're my favorite aunt. I love you. No matter what happens, I just want you to know that. But then, of course, you know who comes at the end of it. And it's time for more of this ass whooping. But see, I'm gonna end it around here-ish, because I'm not gonna show the exact way how he beat him. I want you guys to pick this book up, because the way he beats him is very fucking smart and ingenuitive at the same time. But Peter accepts death at this point. He says, I always knew that I was gonna lose because it's just math. You can't keep winning. Nobody wins forever. But I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I won't go down easy. And I swear this, I will not go down alone. If you're killing me, if you're literally here from another universe to kill me, we're dying together. And what happened? I won't give up, won't give up, won't give up, won't. Yeah. Now, of course, Ezekiel pops up. And Ezekiel can't do shit. He ends up sacrificing his life for the guy. He ends up sacrificing his life for him. But at the end of it, I want to show the part that that's just like Spider-Man Homecoming. This part right here, when he gets home after getting his ass beat, at the end of everything, he's finally sleeping. 2:32 p.m., 3:15 p.m., 4:21 p.m. This is this is Aunt May's what the fuck moment at the end of at the end of Spider-Man coming home. Not homecoming, but coming home. And boy, let me tell you, this right here is the type of Spider-Man stories that I lived for. Because no matter what's going on, once you make the stakes high enough for the character to where they have to do more than just punch their way out of a situation, you know you got good writing. When you make a character come face to face with his own traumas and then decide to help that person rather than it being something that he ignores or fucks up, whatever the case, right? He really tried to help that kid. And then on top of this, he was about to die. He did what he had to do. Went home, went to sleep, got rid of Morlun for now. Sheesh, this is just about a half hour now, so, and I know I went on for a while. If you actually sat through this, thank you. Like and subscribe if you liked it. If you want me to do more Spider-Man stories, I'll see you guys later.